So my name is Amy Sanchez-Raaz, and I work with Business for Water Stewardship. I'm part of the Colorado team, and we do a lot of policy work with Business for Water Stewardship. And so how we engaged in the 7A measure with Friends of St. Vrain and Left Hand Water, Business for Water Stewardship stepped in, and one of my counterparts was the manager of the campaign, who has extensive campaign experience. And my role was to step in and help with the compliance work that is required by any campaigning activity at every level of government, or every level of campaign work, whether it's municipal, state, or federal. So I specifically worked on compliance, and compliance for this particular campaign reports directly to the state of Colorado, even though it's a local jurisdiction effort. So with many of these campaigns and these efforts, compliance will be required by the state of Colorado. On occasion, you'll find that local jurisdictions require compliance reporting that it'll go to a municipality. But specifically for these types of measures, on the 7A measures, it's a report that goes to the state. There are multiple ways to go about setting up these types of campaigns. As a compliance person, I have had multiple roles in campaigns, and compliance as a former fundraiser is, I would say, the most important component of the campaign. Because if you're not in compliance with the state, then you are subject to fees, penalty fees for not filing, and it's state law. So when you first look at starting one of these efforts, the compliance person, in my opinion, is the most important. Compliance is the most important role. So you're ensuring to the entity running the campaign that all funds coming into the campaign and going out are reported. And typically this happens on a quarterly basis in the state of Colorado. Every now and again, depending on where you're at in the campaign, some reporting can be required for major contributions within a 24 to 48 hour window. So the state of Colorado uses the Tracer software to track all funds. And when you start compliance, it's always my recommendation to find an entity, a consultant, or someone like me who works for Business for Water Stewardship to bring that into the campaign. So compliance should be the very first thing that the campaign prepares for, whether that be a loan from another entity, like Business for Water Stewardship. We loaned our compliance skills to this particular 7A campaign. And when you start, it's always my recommendation to set up the compliance piece and to set up the entity, the campaign entity, with an attorney. It doesn't always have to go through an attorney. However, it's always my recommendation to make sure that you are working with an attorney or a professional compliance individual who has familiarity with the state requirements and familiarity with the database or the software that the state of Colorado or whatever local jurisdiction uses to ensure that state regulations are being